Hello, hello. Welcome back to Island Talk with me, Everlyn B. And today's topic is something that we've all had encounters with and have experienced what I call the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's customer service. Specifically, I want to ask the question, is great customer service a dying art? Now, what prompted this topic was honestly my most recent visit to the ER, where, of course, there were a lot of people and a long wait as usual. There were people of varying ailments and levels of pain, and the overall mood was dull, to say the least. There were people of various backgrounds, ethnicities, and ailments, all to different degrees, and each were being called for one thing or another back to the podium. They'd already signed in, and essentially, they got to one gentleman whose name, let's just call him Greg Smith. And again, everyone was being called back to the podium. They called the last name only, and he had a pretty common last name, right? Let's say Smith. He was by himself, and he started to stand up when he heard his name. Now, as he's standing up, he is extending a walking stick. So that indication to me was that he was either visually impaired or blind. Long story short, he proceeds to put the walking stick out in front of him to make his way back to the counter. Again, it's very obvious there's something going on with his vision. He's going really slow, but that's to be expected. The lady who's calling out the names, again, says Smith, patient last name Smith. And she continues looking around. She kind of glanced at him and took her eyes away. So he again asks, "Did you say Smith?" And she looks in his direction and nods her head. Well, of course, this isn't received well, so he stops walking. He couldn't see her. So she now looks and focuses on him as he's standing in the middle of the walkway, and he seems to be, to her, the only person making his way towards her. I kid you not, this lady begins waving her hands rapidly above her head, and she's trying to flag him over. So at this point, I'm kind of dumbfounded, and I'm just like, wait, so she doesn't see the cues? So I'm fully paying attention by this point, and it's on her face. I can see what I only imagine was a look of shame. And she loudly says, "Greg Smith." And then she says, "Come this way," and stands up and tries to make her way over to him. Obviously realizing now that there was an issue and she needed to, make some accommodations. But it just made me think, right? It used to be that what we heard when those of us in public service, were being trained in this field was that we always had to have a pleasant demeanor. We had to be personable. We had to greet clients, and basically just to generally treat people how we would want someone to treat our beloved grandmother. Well, that brings me to my next thought, which is the grocery Goliath, Walmart, who apparently have now gotten the message that the masses are not happy about having to shop their groceries and then check themselves out, bag them, and finally be harassed to show receipts at the door when leaving. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a line of people waiting to exit after they were forced to play their own cashier. They want to stop you and check all your items and check your bag. And supposedly it was mostly for the items that were not bagged. But in my experience, that's not truly the case. Anywho, there is now news of a new initiative being put out in place by Walmart that they are toting will be a true game changer to their system. Now, this is on the heels of many disgruntled customers' protests of either you trust me or you don't, or I don't get a discount, nor do I get paid to be a cashier. The new change is that Walmart will be initiating what they call Sweep and Shop. Now, for those of us that are familiar with Walmart's sister company, Sam's, it's said to be very similar to the Scan and Go app. Essentially, this new innovation will allow customers to accumulate things on their telephones as they shop throughout the store and then pay with preloaded wallet info before they leave. According to Walmart, this will be a more efficient process. This is a quote from Walmart. We're continuously searching for better approaches to assist our clients with saving time, and these developments are the very most recent examples of how we keep on putting resources into our stores and carry more prominent comfort to clients. That was Beam Korsh, a promoting director with Walmart, and he said that in an authority proclamation. Now, for those of us who aren't as tech savvy with our phones or just want the tried and true experience of being checked out by a cashier, not to worry, because Walmart has committed to reinvesting into the human experience and hiring more cashiers. Supposedly, Walmart had to come to terms with the fact that the mass exodus of cashier lines and the implementation of their layout with only self-checkout manned lanes was a crucial error that took them about a year to realize and rectify. Now, as a former Walmart employee, and I now have loved ones that work for Walmart, I think this was a well-needed adjustment. They had to take the time to get the temperature on what was going on in their stores. I've known people years ago, a manager of mine who completely boycotted Walmart, and he would just not shop at Walmart at all. It was crazy. His name was Darren. So Darren, if you're hearing this, shout out to you. I totally see what you were talking about back then. But yeah, he just would not shop at Walmart. He always went to Target or found some other venue to get his items because he was just against their policy and the way that they operated. So yeah, I just wanted to bring this information to you. For you listeners who were not aware, definitely wanted to make you aware of the change. Fear not. If you are anti-self-checkout line, changes are coming. So kudos again to Walmart for reading the room and getting this update mandated and into the stores. So that is the episode for the day. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you learned something new. Let me know your thoughts. Definitely comment, share, like, subscribe, and support. I would truly appreciate your support. As always, thank you for listening again, and be the you that you can be proud of. Evelyn B. out.